Hi, welcome to Jules Bar. Today we're gonna mix a couple of male cocktails. So today we're gonna mix a couple of cocktails based on the Airmail. The Airmail is a cocktail going back to the 30s or 40s. It's basically a French 75 based around rum instead of gin. Sounds pretty decent if you ask me. After mixing the classic version, we are gonna mix a You've Got Mail, which is a variation on the theme proposed by Dave Wondrich, and let's get down to mixing. So apparently there is some debate regarding the Airmail, if it should be served flute style or if it should be served more like a highball. When I make Prosecco cocktail, I use both approaches. It depends on the cocktail. Like if you check my Aperitivo Verde, I propose it to you as a flute cocktail. Then if I'm in a party and I have to mix it for friends, I will rather mix it in a bigger size. A size that's usually big enough for a spritz glass. So it's highball, but not really too high. And that's also how I like to serve my French 75. And that's how I adapted the recipe I'm gonna propose to you today. So let's get down to mixing one more time. So with all that said, basically I'm gonna go for a proportion that matches 45 milliliter of the main spirits we used. Give me a second, I'm just gonna squeeze some limes. So let's start our Airmail with honey syrup, and I'm gonna use 15 milliliters of honey syrup. 3 to 1. 3 parts honey to 1 part water. Then I'm gonna go with 22.5 milliliters of lime juice. And I'm gonna conclude the contents of our shaker with rum. And I have here this new Grove rum from Mauritius. Mauritius, interesting country in the Indian Sea. Unlike Réunion, which is the island next to it, which is still a French overseas department, kind of fancy name for a colony, Mauritius had a more complicated history, and I think they were fought over by the British and the French and maybe even the Portuguese, I don't know. Anyway, this rum is made in the English style, more akin to a Caribbean rum. It has a super fragrant flowery smell, which can't wait to try. I bought this some times ago on sale. You know I'm a sucker for sales, and this is the first time me trying that. By the way, it was 45 milliliter of that. Let's get some ice for our shaker. And let's give this bad boy a shake. Let's prepare our spritz glass with some ice. Let's pour the contents of our shaker on top. And then let's top off with Prosecco. I have here the Kirkland, as Costco always have some great values in their products, but this is especially that, because this is really like the greatest deal, especially for cocktail. It just gives you everything you want at a fair price. And there you go, an Airmail. Cheers. This is perfectly fine. It's nice. I like the balance of the sugar to citrus right here. This rum works wonderful in this cocktail. I mean, one of my favorite cocktail served in this shape would be the old Cuban highball, and that would be pretty much this cocktail with that added bonus of mint. I think I actually prefer the old Cuban highball, but this is not bad at all. Actually, it's a great aperitif drink, and maybe it's just the Italian in me, but I like this kind of drink being served like this. It's just the right amount. So if you want to stop, you stop. If you want to have a second one, you can have a second one, and you're gonna be tipsy, but you're gonna be still fine. and then you're gonna go have dinner or what? If you go for a further, that's your problem, but... And I like these glasses. They are by RItzenhoff, and I think they are available pretty much around the world, for sure in Europe. In Japan, I found some maybe 10 years ago, and then I never found them again, so these I actually bought in Italy and brought back here, because, yeah, not imported in Japan. I guess they don't have a spritz Aperol culture, but nice. I guess let's get down to mixing the Yuga Male. So the Yuga Male does a couple of things different from the classical airmail. First, it changes the rum for cachaça. Second, it mixes sugars. It uses both honey syrup and simple syrup, and also it mixes juices using both lime and orange juice. Now the proportion I found online are for a highball glass, but because I want to reduce from 60 milliliter of cachaça to 45, the measures are gonna be a bit weird, especially for the sugar. The sugar amount should be 3/4 of 50 milliliters and divided in two. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pour slightly less than 50 milliliters, and I'm gonna divide it between honey syrup and my 2-to-1 sugar syrup. Yeah, about that much. Then for the juices, we are gonna need 22.5 milliliter or 3/4 of an ounce, and we are gonna need it split in half between lime juice and orange juice. So let me pour about half of that amount in lime juice, and then I'm gonna give this orange a bit of a squeeze. Let's see if I can get it to fall in my jigger until I have 22.5 milliliters. And there you go. And then we conclude with 45 milliliters of cachaça, and I have here the Quinta Das Castanheiras, which I show you before many times, but I show you only the blue label. This is a green label and is Jaquitibá aged, but aged probably like a week or less. It gives a tiny bit, yeah, it gives a different kind of a flower note on the nose. It's a small difference, but also the difference in price is fairly small, so I tried this one. It's really nice too. Let's get some ice for our shaker. Let's give this bad boy a shake. Let's prepare our spritz glass. Let's pour the contents of our shaker over ice. And let's top off with Prosecco. Let's decorate with a wedge of orange. This is in the original recipe and it makes it feel more like a spritz. And there you go, a Yuga Male. Cheers. Nice, nice, nice. I'm not sure I'm able to distinguish the added orange juice impact and the split of the sugar impact. But it's a nice aperitif, more funky than the one based on rum. The one based on rum, more traditional. This one with the cachaça, I use the funky cachaça. The cocktail is definitely more funky, has that special flavor that distillate made from sugarcane herb, and it's quite nice. I wonder if actually the best thing to do would be to make an old Cuban highball, which I mentioned, which is basically an airmail with mint, but make it with cachaça. That sounds nice too. Maybe I'm gonna try it next time. But this is a perfectly serviceable aperitif too. It's more summery, feels fresh summery. I guess the cachaça, maybe it's just the psychological connection I have with caipirinha that makes it feel just fresh, nice, and beach-like. But yeah, definitely summer cocktail here. And I will think the airmail being also a bit simpler. It's a no-season cocktail, you can mix yourself all the time. Yeah, actually, I really like this rum. Now I felt it. I felt the impact on the rum on the second sip, and it was really nice. Yeah, both excellent alternative. Other option you can check out are the Old Cuban Highball, the Spritz, my first video. Last time I had guests, I actually made a Milanese breakfast martini, but I served it like this. So I made a 1.5 times portion, and then I served it over ice like this, and it was really nice too. And the freaking French 75, it's a classic. If you ask my wife, maybe it's the one she requests the most. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, share with me by you like and don't like. Shake yourself a drink and then pour some dry sparkling wine over it to make yourself a nice aperitif, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheers. So you know how they say going postal, meaning going completely nuts? And it's something I guess came from US because they had many accidents of violence in post offices, and I kind of understand that. And now I'm gonna tell you why. Because every year for New Year we send out a greetings card to our closest friends. And what happened is that I send most of my postcards back to Italy. The postcards we get are pre-marked with a stamp that's just enough to send them to Japan. So every year when I go to the post office, I tell them, please add the extra stamp, I'm gonna pay you, and please send them by airmail to Italy. So this year I go to a post office, I give it to them, they charge me X amount, and my 18 or so postcards went to Italy, except they didn't, because after 2 days they got back to me in my mail. And he was saying the postage was insufficient. I went back to the post office and I tell them, well, you told me I had to add this certain amount, but apparently it was wrong. And she was like, I'm so sorry, please. And I paid the extra amount. She gave me some soft tissues, the really cheap ones, as a way to say sorry, and I came back home. But after a few hours I got one more postcard which I was sending to my friend Marco that apparently got lost somewhere. He came back later, so I got the postcard for Marco. I went back to the post office and I said, please add the stamp, and she said, oh, I'm so sorry again, and she gave me wet tissues, which a more expensive sorry present. Then most people, I think they got the postcard eventually, even if it was pretty late by that time. But one friend in particular, the one that was supposed to get this specific postcard, she didn't get it because the mailman that in Italy was supposed to deliver it couldn't find the address. Now, I didn't know the exact number of the house for this particular friend, but I put the road and he always got delivered, because in the road there are like 20 houses. It's not American road with the numbers that go up to thousands. But apparently this postman or postwoman couldn't find the address. So I think if I were that postman, I think I would have a few options. First option is ask the first person on the road where this person is. Even if you're inexperienced, everybody knows everybody in my town, and they're gonna tell you where the house is. Second, you really don't wanna deliver this? Throw it on the ground. Lose it. I mean, who cares? I mean, I care, but if you're not willing to make the effort, Actually, if you drop it on the ground, maybe somebody's gonna deliver it anyway, because in my town, everybody knows everybody. So they're gonna find it and they're gonna be, oh, okay, it goes to that house, and they're gonna deliver it. But what this person did, he or she sent this thing back to Japan with a notice that said, insufficient address. So it cost the post of both Italy and Japan an insane amount of money for the final result of not being delivered. And these are the things that I guess makes you go postal and get a bit crazy, because you're like, why?